Hey everyone, in today's session we are going to look at burden of proof in criminal law cases. Where is the burden of proof in criminal law cases? And also we are going to look at the locus classica case in burden of proof, and we are going to try to dig in depth so that we can understand where does the burden of proof lie in criminal law cases. I will start with the locus classica case. And the locus classica case, it's a case of Woolmington versus DPP. And this is a case of 1935. It's a case of 1935. So the facts in this case, a man had separated with his wife for a long time. And the man felt that he wanted to have some intercourse with the wife. And he wanted to get a way of bringing back the woman back to his life. And now what he did, this guy came, he bought a gun. In his mind, he had this intention that if he buys the gun, he can threaten that he's going to end his life. After threatening the woman that he's going to end his life, the woman might sympathize and come back to him. So now he bought the gun. After buying the gun, he went to the girl's family. On reaching the girl's family, he found the parents of the girl. He asked the parents of the girl that, where is my wife? They told the guy that the wife is there in the room. So the wife came out and he told the wife that, please come back. The wife refused. So he got to the guy that, if you do not come back, I will kill myself. So accidentally, he shot the wife dead and he was arrested. And now, in the trial court, the court held that he had failed to prove his case and he was convicted. And the reasoning the court gave the trial court, the reasoning of the trial court is that he had failed to prove beyond reasonable doubt that he didn't intend to kill the wife. But however, here in the trial court, the burden of proof, the court held that the burden of proof was on the man to prove that he did not intend to kill the wife. And now the man appealed to the House of Lords. On appealing, the House of Lords established the principle that the burden lies with the prosecution to prove beyond reasonable doubt that indeed Wilmington didn't intend to kill the wife. The reasoning the House of Lords gave was that Wilmington had pleaded the defense of accident, that it was accidental, he did not intend to kill her. Are you seeing? Now the House of Lords tasked the prosecution that they have the burden of proof to prove beyond reasonable doubt that Wilmington indeed had intended to kill the wife. So that's how we are seeing how this scenario is coming in. Like, that's how we are seeing at the trial court. The trial court held that the burden of proof is with Wilmington. But however, the House of Lords held that no, the burden of proof is with the prosecution to prove that Wilmington didn't indeed intended to kill the wife. So when you try to look at the two reasonings of the trial court and also the House of Lords, you will find out that the House of Lords held that the burden of proof is on the prosecution, and therefore it's the duty of the prosecution to prove beyond reasonable doubt that Wilmington indeed intended to kill the woman. So now this locus classica case was also used in several other cases, and I'm going to give you some of the cases whereby this locus classica case was used to show that indeed the prosecution is the one with the burden of proof in criminal law cases. In a case of Uganda versus Dr. Agre Chiyingi and others, it's a criminal session case number 0030 of 2006. In this case, Robina Chiyingi, a wife to Dr. Agre Chiyingi, was shot dead outside her home. The prosecution alleged that Dr. Chiyingi conspired with other people to murder his wife. And Dr. Chiyinji alleged that he was not at the scene at the time that the murder took place. And now the burden shifted to the prosecution to prove beyond reasonable doubt that indeed Dr. Agre Chiyinji was at the scene at the time of murder. But unfortunately, they failed to prove beyond reasonable doubt, and the court's holding, the court acquitted Dr. Agri and the others due to insufficient evidence to establish guilt beyond reasonable doubt. So in this case of Uganda versus Dr. Agri Chinja and others, here the prosecution failed to prove beyond reasonable doubt that Dr. Agri and Dr. Agri Chinji and the others were the ones that murdered the wife of Dr. Chiyinji. Are you seeing? So now this simply connects us with the Locus Classica case, that it's the duty of the prosecution to prove beyond reasonable doubt. And if at all the prosecution fails to prove beyond reasonable doubt, the court therefore will acquit the accused persons, since they are not guilty. Are you seeing? So the primary responsibility of the prosecution in criminal law cases is to prove beyond reasonable doubt. And also another case I have it's Uganda versus Kasolo and others. It's a criminal case number 571 of 2020. So in this recent case, here the prosecution proved beyond reasonable doubt that Kasolo and others had participated in killing the victims of the deceased, and also they were involved in kidnapping the victims of the deceased, and therefore the court convicted these accused people on the basis that the prosecution had proved beyond reasonable doubt. So also in this case, you see that the prosecution proved beyond reasonable doubt, and after proving beyond reasonable doubt, the court convicted these persons based on the evidence of the prosecution. So in simple terms, that the prosecution has the duty to prove beyond reasonable doubt in criminal law cases, and if the prosecution fails, then the accused persons will be acquitted. But if at all they prove beyond reasonable doubt, that means that the court will convict the accused persons. So basically, that's the end of today's session. If you found this session interesting, please like, comment, and also subscribe. Don't forget to also share it to your friends so that they can also get the same knowledge and learn, because in law we all have to help each other. Don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and comment. Thank you very much.